Hi, and welcome to episode 6 of the Glacial Knits podcast. It is July 24th. I think I kept writing June on my forms all day.
Yeah.
No, I'm like really sure. I was filling out forms this morning, and I'm pretty sure I kept writing 24th of June.
Oh.
Oops. Anyway, so hi, I am Sari, also known as the girl who crafted.
I am Jonas, also known as Shopboy Jonas.
So hi, welcome. It's been longer than we meant for it to be, since we had an episode. Yep.
It was, we successfully accomplished our first selling in person at ZK, and then, you know, for all the packing and organizing that goes into getting ready for a show, getting everything back home and then unpacked and reorganized is just as much work, it seems like.
It's not. You act like it is unpacked or reorganized. By unpacked and reorganized, he meant boxes are shoved in a room.
Yep. Totally. Out of the way.
Except that I hate them being there, because the whole point of us having this house is we don't have to have boxes shoved in corners of rooms, and we still have boxes shoved in corners of rooms. So it's really bothering me, but clearly not enough to do anything about it. Okay. Mostly because I don't know where to put the yarn.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a space for it, so it's just in boxes. And I don't really want to put cardboard boxes just, like, hanging out in the basement because of water and other stuff and just dampness in general, plus the room that the yarn dyeing stuff is in is also the laundry room, so there's not like a ton of extra space.
Yeah.
So I can't really store it in there, but I don't know where else to store it. I need to get some like plastic bins for it, but even then it's like, where am I going to put it? I don't know, so.
That is the current quandary.
So ZK was good. It was fun. It's a fun retreat, and it's always good to see people and meet new people, reconnect with people we've met in the past, etc. So, I mean, it was a good time, and for us, it's totally worth it because Rochester's not that far.
No, it's not at all.
So, it was a little bit tenuous on the like adventures in does this fit in the car front.
It was.
But we did it. I was very skeptical, and Jonas was packing the car, and like he came in and was like, I was at one point, and there was still a lot of stuff to get packed, and was like, no, I think it's all gonna fit. And I just looked at him and was like, your optimism is foolish right now. But yeah, it did fit. I don't know how or what was going on, but
it all worked out. It was great. And then it was fun to actually be selling yarn to people who were actually in front of you, because you could actually have conversations about what do they want to do with it and kind of see how they're reacting to some of the colors and the bases, and that was really cool.
Yeah, and it's funny because I was I was a little surprised because the colors that are popular, like more popular on like the Etsy site or the website, were totally not the ones everyone went to. And our biggest seller is, I think, it's not a surprising color because it's a really lovely color, but it's something that not a lot of people even look at on the internet.
Yeah.
So it's a totally different experience, buying yarn in person versus buying yarn online, because it was just like people were gravitating to colors that they don't ordinarily even look at. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's like, I feel like the photo is pretty representative, but the part of it is that it was one of the colors that was on a sparkle sock base, and the way that yarn photographs, you can like sort of see that it has the sparkle in it, but in person you really can, and it's this really nice navy blue color with these sparkle pops of it. And the because I saturate the yarn so much, the stellina actually gets colored. So it's still shiny, but it's like this shiny blue color. So it is really nice. But the ones that I was like, Wolves of Winter, like, as soon as I dye some, people are like, I would like all of it, please.
Yeah, seems like.
And no, like, people bought it, but it wasn't the first thing everyone went to, like I thought.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was an interesting experience to sort of watch people look at the yarns in person, because it was not go the way I anticipated.
Yeah, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time all around.
Yeah, and we met some really great people and made some connections with people who are designers who might want to use the yarn for things. So we might do some collaborations in the future and maybe put out like some yarn kits or something, yarn plus pattern kits.
Yep.
So we'll see. Some things may come of it.
Yeah, which is cool. And then this is probably our final monthly plug for our Outlander yarn swap.
Definitely is, at least if you want the first half or all 4 months.
Yep, yeah. So you got until August 1st, so a little bit under a week, a little bit over a week.
Yeah, it's not long. We'll try to, I'm going to do my best to get this episode up sooner than I usually do, so you can actually see this, but... Yeah, August 1st, and links are in the show notes, but you can find info on that club on both the website and Etsy, and probably I'll stick something on the blog as well.
Yeah. So, and we're still doing 2 months for $65 and 4 for $125, and either a sock or a non-sock option. And I still don't think we have a solid release date yet, but they did a panel at Comic-Con.
Yeah, it's still just saying September. So I'm still planning on trying to ship yarn September 1st.
Yeah.
Because if signups, a month should be enough time to get that together. So, so you should have it early to mid-September is when we'll start. And it'll be every month.
Yep. So yeah, and I'm really looking forward to that, because I would like to have some cool Outlander stuff to slowly knit while I watch the show.
See if you can get through one.
Yeah. Can I get through the first month's color before the entire run of the show is done? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Awesome. So do you want to talk about new test colors next? Or should I show off the ZK yarn?
Yeah, I don't know. We're going in like a weird order. It's odd of the brain of Jonas. It's like the reverse order of how I usually set this up. And I was like, oh, we're going to talk about yarn dyeing first. We never talk about yarn dyeing first. So those of you who are not in this for the yarn dyeing and are only in this for the knitting.
It's my fault.
Jonas has made you have to either skip to the end or sit through all of this yarn dyeing content you don't care about. Talk about what you got at ZK. That's probably more interesting for people.
Okay. So, one of the things that I got at ZK I am currently knitting, so we'll talk about that later, but it's they're Pokemon themed mini skeins. The big thing that I bought came in this very delightful cake box, which I have somewhat mangled.
Oh, you broke it, yeah.
Yeah, since I broke it when I opened it, to be fair. But it's from Brew City Yarns, and they were doing house-themed shawl kits for a knit-along that they're doing. I think that's in September, which is going to make the doing Outlander stuff on this
I don't know.
very difficult. But it comes with pin of your house and the nice little cool like folded letter, which I am presuming inside is the download code for the shawl for the knit-along. I'm like holding off on opening it because it just looks so wonderful and cool right now, and I don't want to break the wax seal. And then I'm going aspirational Ravenclaw, even though I know I'm not really a Ravenclaw.
It was really just because the colors for Ravenclaw were better.
Yeah, than the colors for Hufflepuff. But we have on their premium draft sock base this blue color, which is Rowen's Diadem. And then the yellow is Luna's Spectre Specs. And then our kind of more neutral-ish color, but it's got some nice pops of blue in it, is the Hollows Grey. And then in parentheticals R.
Yeah, because they did a Hollows Grey in all the colors. They did a gray with the colors.
Oh,
like the main color.
Oh,
for
gotcha.
all of them, so it's Hollows Grey plus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Plus one of the house
Because
colors.
I looked at the Slytherin ones. The Slytherin kit looks cool. I had the best green.
Yeah. The funniest thing, or maybe not the funniest thing, but I was amused to hear that, because when you're at ZK at the shops, they give people who are selling a half an hour to shop beforehand, and like they had sold out of all but one of their Ravenclaw kits beforehand.
Yeah, they so they did a pre-order. You could pick up the kits there. But I think in addition they had brought, because I was talking to them after he bought his, and they had brought 7 and they only had 1 and the market hadn't even started yet. So apparently everyone's a Ravenclaw.
Yeah. I mean, we all want to be smart and just chill.
Maybe.
Even if we
I don't know. I know some really proud Hufflepuffs.
That's true. I am not one of them. Another cool person that we met there was the Undead people, or the Undead Yarn people. So I picked up their Midnight colorway on their Spider base, which is a merino nylon blend. It's this really great, just dark blues and grays. And then I was suckered in by both Marigoldjen's colors and her naming. So maybe you know by now that I'm a sucker for browns and oranges and stuff. So I picked up this, and then when I saw that the name was Earl Grey, which is a tea I actually happen to like, even. I know you don't.
I mean, whatever. Do your thing.
So that got me there. And then we have this wonderful, beautiful cumulus color after the clouds with these great pops of gray and blue for the sky.
I mean, to be fair, that one he bought and then brought it over and was like, I thought you'd like this. And I was like, I don't dislike it. And he's like, whatever, I'm keeping it.
Yep. Yeah, you didn't immediately love it, so it was mine.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my yarn shopping life at ZK. I also, I forgot to grab it. I also did grab, before we sold out of it, the Unintentional Beauty of the Wood Smoke colorway. That you had made on accident and don't know how you did it, so it will never exist again.
No, and they're all sold out.
Yep.
So there were only 3 and they're all gone. And yeah, it was a total accident. And it was a nice, like, variegated brown and gray color. That will I can maybe try to get close sometime, but it's not gonna be same, because what happened was I put gray dye in the pot and it turned brown, so I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, it's one of those interesting things.
So I bought nothing at ZK. Selling yarn will do that to you. But I did win some stuff, so and I got some door prizes, so I'll show you that. So first of all, I'm not going to show you the whole door prize kit. We got a pattern from Tin Can Knits, which is pretty cool. And they were random. And I got some needles, and they happened to be they were size 5s with an appreciably long cable. And I was like, hey, I could use these. So it was the Knitter's Pride Nova Platina, which I love Knitter's Pride needles. And those are really great. They're metal. They're all metal. They're like, I don't know what metal they are, but but the tips are sort of in between the Dreams tips and the Carbons tips, which is good because the Carbons tips give me finger calluses. Like, I love my Carbons, but they legit cut my hand a lot. So these are great, and I knit this with them fortuitously because I don't have the right size needle, and I was like, oh, I'm going to cast on this new thing. Oh, look, size 5s. Yay.
It was great.
I'm talking in US sizes, I'm sorry. And I like those needles a lot, so I may invest in some more, although I have a Knitter's Pride set, so I don't really need needles that often because I only knit one thing at a time. So, but I think if it comes up that I need to buy fixed circs, I will probably look into the Platinas. I sort of like the grip of wooden needles better than the straight metal, but sometimes metal, the slick metal ones are okay. Anyway, I got this pouch. This is from Silver Shed USA. Oh, I have a project bag I forgot to get to. But she was sort of making these like on demand almost. She was like sewing in the back room. They were like, we have more pouches, here's a stack. And so this one's, it's got a little flower pattern on it. It's just like a little notions pouch, which I think is cute. Yeah, and they also had project bags, which I did not grab. It's over there. But it's got the ZK camping motif thing on it, and then it's one of those ones that's got the extra piece inside, so you can pull it out and then seal it. It's got a handle. I'll try to remember to show it to you next time. Anyway, yarn. So everybody in their attendee goodie bag things got some yarn. It was like three or four different people. And so I have the one, and it was sort of at random, was from Three Irish Girls. Who, it's funny that I would get the bag with the Three Irish Girls in it, because if anybody doesn't need any more yarn from Three Irish Girls, it's me. I own no yarn from any of the other dyers. Because I think Undead Yarns did one. Yeah. Oh, no, Show Me Yarns. Oh, okay. And then 716 Knits did one. I can't remember who they all were. And of course I get the one that I'm like, yeah, it's like up the street. It's not up the street, but it's not far. But I still was excited because I was pulling stuff out of the bag, and like all I saw was half of a tag and it said Adorn, and I was like, ooh! Because I have a problem. Yeah. It's not quite as bad as my Mel Abrigo problem, but it's up there. So these are what they did for their camping theme. The knit-alongs were color wars. So they had Team Blue, Team Red, Team Purple. And so everybody, all the Three Irish Girls ones had these, and then it was either blue, red, or purple with it. I was on Team Blue, but I will happily take this purple yarn. I know some people were trading and whatever, but so they're different. This is Skinny Dippin', and it's blue with little red and purple speckles, because speckles are all the rage right now, I guess. Based on what everybody was super excited about. This one is, I can't tell which tag goes with which. One of these is Capture the Flag, and one of these is Ants Go Marching, and I'm guessing this is Capture the Flag because it's red and blue and white. Probably. And then this is Ants Go Marching. See, this could also be Ants Go Marching because of the spots. Until I take this apart and see which tag goes with which, I can't be sure. But those are the three colors. They're pretty great. It's 350-gram skeins, so 150 yards. Yep. Fine. I'll probably find a shawl project or something. Cool. And then I won this as a door prize, which is Diabolical, and it's called Beautiful Wickedness, and it's just like, that's such a good name for that. It's such a great green. It's really nice, foresty, like green brown. I accidentally dyed some yarn this color while trying to dye something else once, and I loved it. I made you've seen it. I made the Rotterdam Market Hall hat out of it after I overdyed it teal after it was this color. Oh yeah, that's right. So yeah. But I love this color. So it's worsted weight, I think. Indeed. Cool. So yeah. Probably let's be real, it's gonna be a hat. Yeah, let's be real about that. My life is hats. This is not a ZK yarn. This came in my Gilmore Girls swap, but I needed to show it all off to you all. Jonas has He's salty about the Gilmore Girls swap right now.
I'm not. I am not.
Your box is coming. Now that you know your box is on the way, you're not going to get mad at me.
I know my box is on its way and that it hasn't been stolen off our front porch.
He was, we were waiting. He was waiting. His partner had to ship late. But it was great because we were waiting. He's been waiting for this package to come, and one of our friends was making candles, and she mailed me one totally unexpectedly. I had been talking to her about it, and she just sort of decided to send me one, even though she said she wouldn't. And so this box was on the porch, and he went to get the mail and saw this box and was like really excited that it was his swap package, and then it was addressed to me, and he was like, "This is for you from Spot."
I was all like, "Curse you, person."
Yeah, it was great. This came, I have a bunch of stuff that I could show you from my swap package, but I thought about it, but it's like scattered around the house. Also in my ZK bag that I forgot to show you, is a mug, a really, really great coffee mug. They're made by a local company here in St. Paul. Really love it. They're handmade and hand glazed. Super pretty, and they had them in the team colors plus green. But I have a blue one because I like blue, and I was on Team Blue.
That's awesome.
This is Mel Abrigo. So my swap partner is officially my best friend for life because not only did they buy me Mel Abrigo worsted, which is really all you have to do in the first place, it's also in the Paris Night color, which I've picked up in the store like 20 times, and then either Jonas or I have talked me out of buying it. And it's funny because it actually, while we were shopping for the swap in Omaha, I had yarn for my swap partner, and it was Mel Abrigo, and I had the London I don't remember what it's called, London Sky colorway, and the Paris Night colorway, and I was walking around the store, and I was just staring at them, like making upset noises because I knew they weren't for me, and I wanted them both. And I had to put one back, and I decided to put Paris Nights back. But this color, it's really hard to see unless you're in person. It's this really nice sort of purplish navy color. And it's just it's such a beautiful deep blue. And I don't know what this is going to be. It's probably going to get hoarded for a while. I can get it, like, I can just literally get it at the LYS that's 5 minutes from here, but I'm probably still going to hoard this because I didn't buy it myself. Yeah. So, that color. All right.
Awesome. Should we talk about knitting? And then
we'll talk about knitting because, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll do mine because it'll be very brief. So, I finally was victorious over shawl. So this is the Angularity shawl from Josh Ricks, and I have finished it. It is my first shawl. It was great because I was binding it off like pretty much when we like randomly bumped into him and was chatting with him at ZK. So that was cool. I'm pretty sure like between like finishing this and meeting him and talking to him, like after I do the knit along shawl, I'm probably going to try one of his other shawls in one of his 3-color patterns, because he's a pretty cool dude and he's local. And then the other thing that I finished but I can't show you are the lane mitts, and those are by Jensen Reyes, and that was what I made for the Gilmore Girls swap out of Mel Abrigo Stone Chat. And
yeah, Mel Abrigo worsted.
Yeah, Mel Abrigo worsted in the Stone Chat color, right? There we go.
Yeah.
And by all accounts, the mitts were well received by my swap partner, who is actually the person who sent Sari the...
Yeah. It was this weird circle of swap and like weird circle of Mel Abrigo.
Right.
Because I mailed Mel Abrigo to my partner. He made mitts out of Mel Abrigo, and then his partner mailed me Mel Abrigo. It was this like bizarro Mel Abrigo swap.
Mm-hmm. It was. So those are the 2 things I finished. Right now I am working on a tiny blanket in a pattern called Copacetic from... what's the blog called? Where are you though? Oh, Tossing the Stash is the name of the blog. And I'm making this out of these 10 Pokemon mini skeins that I bought from Brew City Yarns because I'm probably going to make this tiny blanket, and then I'm probably going to wrap up the Pokemon stuffies that I have in the blanket, and it's just going to be wonderful and beautiful and totally dorky, and I don't care. But right now I am knitting back because somewhere during the process I picked up the knitting and managed to flip all of the stitches. So I had like 6 rows that were all definitely backwards because it's a garter stitch, and then it's basically 1x1 ribbing. It's knit, purl, knit, purl. But it was really obvious that I had done something weird. So
yeah, I think we'll something maybe after you get that fixed is we'll clip one of the removable stitch markers on the front side so that you can say, oh, is like stitch marker side is the front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I should be knitting when I am
if you see that side, you should be knitting.
Yeah. Basically. Yeah.
So, because, that pattern's confusing because it's the same on both sides, so it's really easy to pick it up backwards.
Yeah, and I have a bad habit of, like, I pick up, almost always when I go on the circs, I pick it up so I'm knitting away from myself, except on occasions where I can't do it right now. I pick it up, and I'm like, oh, wait, I'm not supposed to do that, and then I go like this, so that the needles are back towards me, but then I flipped the fabric.
Yeah.
And that's how that stuff happens. But that's it for Jonas's knitting life. It's dorky but satisfying.
That's fine. Dorky but satisfying is how we roll around here.
That's true.
So for my stuff, I promise that the next episode I will knit with yarn that I didn't dye myself. It didn't happen on purpose. It sort of did because I was like, oh, I have to knit boost samples. And so I had been hoarding all this stuff that I pulled for boost samples, and then I didn't, because I was so busy pre-show, I didn't really get around to most of it. And then I was like, well, I already have this, so I might as well knit with it. Plus, I like to knit. It's a weird thing. I like to knit with my own yarn when I'm knitting with, like, in public with people, so that I can. It's sort of a marketing thing, you know, like, oh yeah, I dyed this. Let me tell you about it. I just said I promised I would knit with my own thing, but the next, like, one of the next big projects I have planned is my yarn too.
But it's new yarn.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll just talk about what I did, and I promise you that this isn't like, please let me show you how amazing my things are. It just happens. I had just dyed this color the last time we talked, and I was trying to find a pattern, and so I found a pattern. This is the Heart of the City color, and the pattern is called Beloved Trees. So it's hard. It's very subtle. In cable trees, it's a cowl, and I really like it. It's by I wrote it down. Tracy Wright, and I'm pretty sure it's a free pattern. It's not hard. If you can cable, it's easy. So I did this because it's the Heart of the City colorway is named after the parkway near our house, and there's trees and water and things. So I thought that a tree motif would be appropriate. So
I wore that for like half of the.
It did work for half the market.
Yeah. I was committed despite being very, very warm.
Yeah, it was warm in there. Should probably weave in the ends on your socks, huh?
Does that really make?
No, I just tuck them into the top all the time.
Okay. Here I was like being sarcastic.
Whatever. So you've been seeing these. They're done. This is my 2016-2017 Madridista socks out of this colorway that has changed names 3 times. Anyway, it's called Campeones now because they won a lot of stuff, and I don't think they were both done last time. I think I was almost done with the second one, but they're appreciabally tall. Yeah, and I also don't like having extra yarn. And this yarn, this is one of my old bases, the Sparkle sock base. It has like a lot of yards, it's like 460 yards. And I always forget that because I was thinking it's like 420 or like 435, which I think is the current one. And I just keep knitting, and I'm like, That's a lot of sock. So, but it's fine because they're football inspired, so they're basically as tall as football socks.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
It is okay.
And I finished them, and it's been summer, so I've worn them. And I already working on the next color because the kits this year are black and teal. Super exciting. Or white and teal. Either way, there's teal. So I have to come up. I don't know what we're gonna call it because nothing has happened yet in the season. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to see. It's hard. I always dye it, and then I think, oh, we could get these to people for the season, and then it doesn't have a name because I like to name it after whatever, like the notable thing that happened during the season. And so they won both the Champions League and La Liga, so I called it Campeones. So that's that. What else did I write down? Oh yeah, I was like, where's the other thing? I'm wearing it. So this thing right here, this is Aria's Needle by Laura Smoot, out of Girl Who Crafted Northern Lights sock in the Wolves of Winter colorway, which until the market at ZK still is by far our best seller, but was not the top seller at the ZK market. So it looks like this. It's just a tiny shawl. It's a one skein shawl, but I don't know if you can see it. It's got this sword in the middle, like Aria's sword, which I like, and then just like an all-over sort of scale pattern. And this yarn is good. I actually think sometimes about maybe trying to knit a sweater in this yarn because I really like the subtle variegation from light gray to dark gray. And it sparkles. I don't know, you probably can't see that on the camera. But it was super, I knit it really quickly. And it was a super fun shawl. So.
You knit that almost in the same amount of time it took me to bind off my shawl, and I kind of hated you.
Yeah, I mean, applied I-cord is awful.
It is repetitive.
So that's that, and then in progress are these socks, which I'm on the gusset, like starting the foot gusset decreases are going on right now, so that one's in an awkward phase. I'll show you this one. I've knit these socks before. I've test knit them. They are the Do Not Speak to Me of Dragonfire socks. They're by Katie Melvin of Nerd Girl Knits, and I made them taller than her pattern suggests because 1, I like tall socks, 2, I don't like extra yarn. And this is in my also sparkle sock. This is In Death Sacrifice. So it's a gray with like variations of gray and then blue over the top. So the front is cool. It's got this the gusset decreases on this are cool because you actually do them on the top of the foot to make this V shape, which is awesome. And then there's this chainmail pattern, and there's a leaf motif on the back. So they're fun. And this is the sock pattern is inspired by The Hobbit, but there aren't, and the yarn's inspired by Dragon Age, but there aren't any good Dragon Age sock patterns, and I'm not a sock designer. So I was like, well, it's got like the chainmail-y pattern on the front, and Dragon Age has elves in it, so the leaves are okay. So
yeah. It all kind of lines up when you think about it.
My Elven King colorway actually came about because I was testing these socks.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And I was trying to find yarn in my stash and was like, I don't have yarn I like, I'm gonna make one. So the Elven King colorway is inspired by the same character that inspired those socks, which is Lee Pace's character Thranduil.
Sometimes I miss like
Pushing Daisies.
Well, yeah, Pushing Daisies, or I forget his character's name in Wonderfall.
Oh yeah, like, they all had
awkward theology major.
They all had the same like rhyming names except for the main character, and I don't remember what they were.
I don't either.
Yeah, he was awkward in that show.
He was. He's like
awkward, delightfully awkward. If you're into Pushing Daisies, Wonderfalls. Brian Fuller's work pre-Pushing Daisies, also with Lee Pace.
Also ended tragically early.
whatever. Fuller's he's making his money now.
I know.
It's fine. He's making money now. So yeah, so that's what I've done, and that's what I'm working on. And this sock is the leg is done, and just trying to guss it.
Guss it up. Cool.
So what else? Now I've talked about these yarns.
Yeah.
I made 2 new yarns. I have more in my brain. I just need to find some time. So this one has been in my brain for a long time, and it is called. This is attempt 3, but I finally did it.
It's not called attempt 3,
It's not called attempt 3. It's called What Do You Dream of on the West Coast? So it's very like West Coast sun and ocean and beachy. There's some brown, like a really light tan. There's like pale blues and pale greens and yellows, and then like into a teal and just like a tealy green, and just all of those colors playing together. So it's like that. This is on Foxy Sport.
Yeah.
It only is on Foxy Sport for now. And this is the newest one. I just brought it up from downstairs today, right before we recorded.
Yep.
And I had been dying. Well, not. I was. All right. The Netherlands. It's back up.
It's back up.
It's back up.
Yeah.
So the women's Euros are right now. Women's European Football Championships, I think they're called. Officially. Is going on, and it's going on in the Netherlands. Which is cool. You get to see a lot of the stadiums, and it's making me really happy, and there's really good local support. So it feels really good to watch and listen to the crowds and just that many people invested in women's football, especially in that country, because they have a league, but it's only been really established for not very long. So and they take their men's team very seriously. So just to have that support for the women's team is really heartening to me. And a lot of the other countries also are traveling in to support their teams, and it's been really good to watch.
Yeah, it's been so much fun.
England is doing really well, and the Netherlands are doing really well, which is a little surprising. I think no one expected them to do that well. They had to get in because they were the main group, and they didn't do that well in qualifying, but they've been winning, and just it's good. It's hard. It's all very heartening. Anyway, so they wear orange because there's a whole history of why the Dutch wear orange. I'm not going to tell you. You can read about it on the internet. Anyway, Dutch people wear orange, and there's a lot of orange. Everyone loves orange in that country, and so the jerseys are orange, both men's and women's. And I was chatting with someone online who was talking about knitting a sweater that they were finishing up, that was called Oranje, which is the Dutch word for the color orange, which is also what they call their football team.
Yeah.
Ons Oranje. Which is orange. This color. And so it wanted sport weight yarn, and I was like, oh, well, I could buy yarn, but I'm gonna dye my own. I'm gonna dye, because then I can also be like, hey, y'all, support the Netherlands national football teams, both of them, with your colors. So I pulled out my national team kits, and I looked at it, and I made a color. And I put this actually next to it, and it's a little darker, but considering I don't have like machines adding dye for me in correct amounts, I'm pretty impressed with how close I got. I did not expect it to be like this spot on. It's a little bit too red, if you're a purist like me, but it's also a really nice orange if you like orange. Like, it's bright orange. Mm-hmm. So this is the newest color. It's called Oranje. And It's gonna be in the shop at some point, but all of it that exists right now is for my sweaters.
Yep. That's the nice thing you can do. You can make your own stuff.
So you'll see this in a sweater at some point, and I have to steek, and I have to decide if I'm gonna be okay steeking yarn I dyed myself, or like, because in some respects that's like whatever, I can make more. And in some respects it's a little bit more terrifying.
Yeah, because you spent all the time.
I did this myself. But it's, you know, it's like somebody, it came up when I was looking at patterns, and ZK for this, and there was one that needed one skein, this one needed one skein. There was another one that needed, I think, more than one skein, and I was like, oh, it's for this, and the people at my table are like, oh, well, do you have more yarn? And I was like, oh, I can get more yarn.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I can always get more yarn.
Like, I have some. It's right there. No. So it's a little less scary in some respects to steek your own stuff, because you're like, just make more. I ruined it. I'm gonna be mad, but like, because it's mostly good. I'm mostly gonna be mad because of all of the
all of the work that had gotten you to that point.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be like, oh, I spent all that time doing all of that color work and then ruined it.
I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see the sweater when it turns out.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, the only other thing, and I talked about this last time. Did I not bring it here? Yeah, there it is. I talked about this last time, like, oh, the next thing I'm gonna knit. Obviously, I was wrong. This county, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna make Vibeke by Kari Westerman, which is inspired by Denmark, which is where county's from. So, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna
happen. As soon as this sock is over, it's gonna happen.
Sweet.
Vibeke.
Vibeke?
Yes.
Cool. What does that mean? Does it mean anything?
It's a historic architectural something site.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well.
So that's all for us. Did you want to talk about fandom stuff? You had it originally, and then you didn't write it down.
I did, because I didn't know.
So, okay, real quick synopsis. We're really into Liv and Maddie.
And we're okay with that.
And we're okay with that. Like, we understand that it is a Disney Channel show for teens and tweens. We understand that. But also, like, we relate on some level to pretty much all the characters. Like, their family is great, and they're weird, and their parents are like just the right level of irresponsible parents that we were like, if we were parents, like, we would definitely be like that. Like, these kids are just like, I mean, there's one of the early episodes, like, the two sons who are the younger two in the family are like, the main character is twins. They're played by the same person. So, but the twin comes home, and like the parents are distracted by the twins and their drama, because one of them was in Hollywood and has now come home, and they're like trying to learn to live together. So the parents are so distracted, like trying to get the twins to be friends, that the sons who are younger, like, take the refrigerator out of the kitchen and carry it up the stairs to their room, and no one in the house notices. And I was just like, yeah, that would be us, wouldn't it?
It would be, until we wanted to eat.
Until we wanted to eat, and then we'd be like, where'd the fridge go?
But I wanted to dinner.
So, and the two twins are great. I like both of them a lot.
Yeah, be the Maddie Rooney you want to be.
My new life motto is be the Maddie Rooney you want to see in the world. Because this girl's my personal hero. And so that's that. We've been watching tons of football.
Yep.
Women's Euros.
All the football.
Women's Euros are going on, and it's preseason for Europe. So there's a tournament going on in the US, preseason tournament, that like nobody takes seriously and like the rest of the world hates, but because we're in the US, we're like, you're playing in our time zone. Everything's great. Everything's great. So it's, you know, it's basically like a money making situation. They're like, hey, Americans will pay us for pretty much whatever. So Yeah, they come and play a tournament in America where they will make buttloads of money.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go back to their respective countries.
They're here for the cash.
They are here for the cash. But
I'm here to watch.
I'm here to watch them be here for the cash.
Yep.
That is
the thing I am comfortable with.
And the Gold Cup, which is our conference tournament, it's the Women's Euros is a conference tournament. It's for the European Conference, and then our men's conference is having theirs in the U.S. It's always in the U.S. our conference, because as I like to tell people, mostly the other conferences they like rotate around who's hosting.
Yeah.
So that each country gets a turn, and it's really expensive to host. It's a lot of work because you have to have all the stadiums and all the infrastructure and like everything in place. So it is hard because you have to have things up to certain specifications and all sorts of things. But it's also like you can make a lot of money.
Yep.
Selling tickets and just tourism revenue. But our conference is the U.S. and Canada and Central America and
Mexico.
Mexico's in Central America.
Oh.
And the Caribbean.
I thought it was still considered part of North America.
I don't know.
I don't know. Sorry.
I think Mexico's in Central America.
Okay, cool.
Anyways,
so.
And the Caribbean. So it's a lot of really small countries, and a lot of not that financially stable countries. They're getting more financially stable, but historically not that financially stable. So it's always hosted in the U.S. because as I like to joke, like it's basically like in this conference, the U.S. is the rich friend with the pool. So like, of course, you're having all your stuff at their house.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's hard because it's actually a little bit difficult because other conferences you rotate and so but now it's like everybody has to travel to the US, so it gives the US team and like the Mexican team and a little bit the Canadian team like a kind of a competitive advantage because they don't have to travel that far.
Yep.
And the Mexican fans, they often host the Mexico games like down in border cities. So
Southern California, Houston.
Yeah, so it's a lot easier for them to travel. So we've been watching a lot of Gold Cup.
Yeah.
That's going on too. I think that's it.
Yeah.
What else are we doing? Nothing?
Not much. Eating food.
Yeah. Growing food. Tomatoes like crazy. We're going to have so many tomatoes. I'm so excited.
Wonderful.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so now that we've talked about football and our lives, which I honestly would be surprised if 100% of you hadn't just decided to stop watching by now. But thanks for being here. So here's where you can find us. I am on Ravelry. I am the girl who crafted. And on Twitter, I am Girl Who Crafted. On Instagram, The Girl Who Crafted. I also have a website, girlwhocrafted.com, and on Etsy as Girl Who Crafted.
And on Twitter, I am Jonas Solders, and on Ravelry, I am Shopboy Jonas.
And so we'll get this episode up ASAP so that you have time to sign up for the Outlander Yarn Club.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.